Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
everybody.
Welcome to another episode of Pounds and Inches, our board game review series, where we talk to you guys about games as well as our health-related goals and what we're doing to accomplish them.
I'm Bethany. This is Ryan, and today we're going to talk to you really briefly about us being on our 7th day of Whole30.
Yeah, no, it's rough, but it's starting to become a little bit more natural to make those choices. Reading the ingredients on a package before you eat them is something that is wise for everyone to do, and it's just so often we don't do it because it's the fine print, which no one likes to read. So finding all those hidden sugars is
It's sad.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well just ignore the whole middle section of a grocery store and just go around the edges, and that's it. That's all you're doing, because that whole middle stuff is just full of things that, first of all, isn't Whole30 approved, but second of all, just isn't real. But positive note for me is I have a coworker right now who's currently doing an anti-inflammatory diet with her family. So it is kind of fun that we get to talk about all these things and the different recipes that we're making, and we're sending pictures back and forth of the stuff that we're making for dinner. So that's kind of fun. I do enjoy that a little bit of accountability at work.
We've had some snow recently, so I haven't had a chance to go outside and do anything active outside. However, shoveling burns calories, and then also hoping to hit the elliptical later and burn some calories that way. All right, let's talk about Luna. Let's talk about the game of the day. This is Luna by Stefan Feld and published by Tasty Minstrel Games.
Yeah, we really like this game. As I'm sure you have figured out that if Feld is in the label, we like it.
Not blindly. We're not that kind of, but we are predisposed to that kind of game.
It's just our sweet spot when it comes to the games that we enjoy playing with each other the most, so that's why we gravitate towards those.
Right. All right, so what do you get when you open the box of Luna?
Alright, so you get this main temple tile, you get player tokens, you get these little marker tiles which represent different people and they have different abilities. You get these tiles that give you special actions, and you also get a timer, essentially.
Hey, there's the main island, or the Holy Isle temples, victory point tokens, and then some more tiles associated with that middle main island board.
Yeah, so how does this game play?
All right, so kind of the main premise of the game is that there is this this cult, and there's this moon priestess that's in charge of it. She's been getting set to retire, and we all represent, as the players, different sects within that cult, and we're trying to get our priestess to become the main priestess. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game wins the game and has their moon priestess become the lead deal. All right, so you start with a certain amount of these little guys here. These are your followers, and they help you take the actions. A lot of times, one of the actions you can take is you can, activate your guys by taking them off the island. That means they're spent, and then you could take a tile with them, or they can recruit a new person, or they can take actions to help them move into that middle area and get some area control points by dominating that middle area of the board. There's also these little standee guys here. You don't want to be where this guy is. He's the apostate. He'll get you negative points. Conversely, the moon priestess will give you positive points if you are where she is. And this little guy helps you build shrines wherever he is. And the shrines give you points as well as discounts throughout the game, so they're very helpful. The game has 6 rounds. This little guy moves around the board, and wherever he goes, the less points you get for going into the middle. So it kind of encourages you to go in there sooner and fight it out a little bit in there. All right, so each island has its own special ability that it gives you when you take those tiles. Some help you travel around the board a little better. Some give you discounts. Some give you the ability to fight in the middle a little better. So they all kind of help you in different ways. The planning is very essential in this game. At the beginning of every round, everybody who's deactivated next to their island become reactivated wherever they were. So it's important that at the end of the previous round, you get set up for the next round. So that's kind of the main driving force of this game is planning ahead.
And then how does a round end?
All right, so this is one of my favorite parts of this game. We'll talk about it a little bit more later, but basically there's this little candle stack, and the candle kind of burns down. One of the actions you can take is to flip over one of these tiles. And as it burns down more and more, the round ends when this final candle gets burned out, and that person, whoever took that action, gets 1 victory point. and it kind of progresses the game as well, and so you're not spending so much time min-maxing and getting all the actions you can. If someone's burning a candle out on you, you just take what you can get and keep on moving.
So that carries on for 6 rounds, and at the end, in typical Feld fashion, whoever has the most points wins.
Yeah.
So as Ryan mentioned earlier, and the reason why I wanted to bring it up was because one of my favorite parts of this game is the candle token. I just love that. I love that little bit of control you can have when other people are doing things and you're out of turns, or you just want to psych people out to kind of jump the gun on what they're doing, and you can just jump towards that. I really enjoy that aspect of the game.
Yeah, I really like that this is, there is no randomization. There are no dice, there are no cards, there's no hidden information. What you see is what's happening. It's just kind of the full, everything's on the board as you see it, and you can plan ahead that way because there's nothing that might throw you off as far as a bad dice roll. It's all
there's no reveal in this. What you see is what there is.
Exactly. And so the only people that you have to worry about are the people at the table, and what they might do might throw you off. But as far as the game itself, there's nothing that's going to change and alter your plans.
Another thing that I like about this game, as Ryan mentioned when he was explaining, these different tiles give you actions that you can do, and as your person you can only hold one of a tile type, and that's it. So I could not have 2 of these, and the reason why I like that is because you can't really hoard anything. It does you no good to take these because there's enough there for every player to have one, so there's no reason to try and get as many because you can't. The game wants you to use these. It doesn't want you to get them to prevent other people from using them. It wants you to get them to use them, and I like that. I mean, hoarding just does nothing in this game. I like that.
Yeah, I really like the way the islands work, these outer holy isles they call them. At the end of each round, this guy rotates, this guy moves around, and the builder moves around as well. So having that in a different spot each round, you want to be where she is, you want to be where he is, you don't want to be where he is, but sometimes you need to be to take that action of where they are, but you need an exit strategy usually too. Or you might get some negative points along the way, but that's okay if you really needed that action.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I personally like the aesthetic of it. I like how it looks. Like you could do all of this on a board. You could have the different islands on the board, or and just mix them around, mix like the tile pieces around. But I love how they set it up like this. I really like how it looks. It's pleasing to my eyes. I just like the aesthetic of it.
Yeah, and on a side note, this game, when we first bought it, one of the pieces came out of the box damaged. That was kind of frustrating as a brand new game that I was excited about. And then also, the player colors had two bags of red and no bags of blue. So I just wrote a really quick, simple email to Tasty Minstrel and said, hey, this piece was damaged and I didn't get any blue pieces. I'll send you back my red ones if that's okay, and trade them out. Within a week, they had sent out the damaged part correction as well as a full bag of the blue player pieces, which I thought was really cool. So shout out to Tasty Minstrel for fixing that problem and swiftly, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
As far as the area control in the middle of the board, there is some aggression there, but it's not overly aggressive. No one's going to feel salty about you moving your guy out of there. So it's a nice little piece of, it adds to the game without making it an area control game per se.
And it's possible to plan out, as Ryan said earlier, you can plan out 2 turns in ahead. And the nice thing about that, if something weird happens, you still have other options. So I like that you do have the options, but you still have to plan out. You can't, I mean, you can wing it, but you probably won't win. But if you want to be competitive with this, you do have to plan it out. But if something happens, you do have those other options available.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so there's anything about this game that you did not like?
I've mentioned this before. I really hate learning games. I don't know why I'm in this hobby, but learning games is not easy for me.
Because you like playing games.
I like having had learned games. It's like reading the classics. You like having had learned them or read them. You're happy that you can check it off.
Sometimes it's not so much fun reading them.
Yes, Frankenstein, I don't recommend. Anyway, so Besides that, this was difficult for me to learn, and it could just be a me thing, and I want to put that out there. This might not be an every gamer thing, but the first time that we played this, I just didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand how to win. I didn't understand how to be competitive, and that was frustrating for me. With that said, though, it's been about 5 months since we played this game, and when we brought it back out, I just needed a refresher, and I got it. So that doesn't stay long, but it still should be noted that it was kind of hard for me to wrap my mind around, and if you're a player like me, it would be similar to you.
Yeah, this is not a heavy game or an overly deep game. However, it is a little strange to teach in some ways. So, yeah, I agree that it's not complicated. It's just weird to learn.
Yeah. And then the other thing that we didn't really like, even though we love how all of this works, well, this is a positive and a negative. So every player has these little player sheets which give you a refresher of what all the actions are. So the positive of that is that you have these and you don't have to refer to the rule book. So you don't have to keep asking what you can do or keep having to pass it around. The positive is...
The negative.
Yes, like Ryan said, the negative is really flimsy.
Yeah, I take really good care of my games and my components, and already these are getting damaged, and all the edges are bunged up, and that just drives me nuts. So it's a little bit of a nitpick.
It's a bit of a nitpick.
They're still functional, and no pieces actually end up needing to go on them. It's simply a reference. But still, I like having my pieces in as good as a shape as possible.
But overall, we really like this game. It feels super quick. It takes us about in between like 40, 55 minutes to play around. It feels like not even a half hour. It just goes by so fast.
Yeah, all the decisions that you make are meaningful. So I think that those choices are really important. That's a hallmark of a good game, in my opinion. And this has them in spades. You know, every choice that you make has ripple effects, and I really like that.
Yeah, so we do recommend this game. If you get a chance to play it, I would highly recommend sitting down at that table and at least giving this a go.
Yeah. All right, well, again, thanks so much for tuning into another episode of Pounds and Inches. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe to us so you can follow along on all of our board games and health-related hijinks and stories. Also, if you're into the visual side of things, you can check out Bethany's Instagram at Bethany Figs. So she's kind of taken a cataloging of all of our games that we're playing and what they look like and who's winning and losing and all of that kind of stuff. But thanks so much again. And
a little preview. So as we mentioned before, we're doing Whole30, which means our whole family is eating a little bit differently. And there may have been somebody in our family who has said recently, cheese pizza is my life. We might be seeing them in future reviews.
Yeah, this individual in our family who you've met before is back for an episode soon, so stay tuned. All right, thanks again, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.